Alright guys, this is a little 9-hole vlog at Weeks Park in Wichita Falls, Texas. Kind of my last ditch effort at saving the Mizuno JPX 900 driver from exiting my bag. It has a regular flex shaft, so I can't really blame the club itself, but I've been push cutting it quite a bit. So today I went out with thinking just have a really strong grip and see what happens, and first drive was pretty good. Went dead straight, did right side of the fairway. Have about 80 yards. There's a bunch of wind coming in off the left, so I aimed up on the left side of the green, hit the shot I wanted to, went right down the line, had the perfect yardage, and somehow the wind did not push it back. But I'm putting for birdie on the first hole. There's something about putting for birdie on the first hole of the day that's gives you just a bunch of confidence. Anytime you can make a par on the first hole is really great, but if you're putting for a birdie, I don't know, it changes your mindset for the entire day. You kind of feel like you can attack the course as opposed to play defensive. Not a terrible putt right there, just didn't read it correctly. Had pretty good speed, and just a simple little 3-foot putt back for a par. So good par on the first hole. Alright, second hole at Weeks. It's a par 4, about 460 yards. You definitely don't want to be to the right. You'll never find your ball. It's out of bounds. So I aimed at the tree on the left side of the fairway with a strong grip, even though the wind was pushing from the left, thinking I'll just draw it against the wind. And I hit that exact shot. I don't know why I aimed up so far left, because now I'm behind that tree over there, but I hit the ball so far that it's really not going to matter. I have about 120 yards into the pin. You can kind of see that my stance is on the cart path, but because I actually kind of liked the lie that I had, I just stuck with it instead of taking a drop. Pin's in the back left, so I really wanted to go at it, knowing that the wind would maybe push it back towards the hole, and I aimed up on the left side of the green, hit the shot, and somehow the wind once again did absolutely nothing to my ball. It just went dead straight. Now I have this downhill, I don't know, 20, 25 foot putt off the fringe for a birdie. You can see I'm looking at it from every angle I possibly can, just to kind of set myself up for a par putt coming back. I know that's not really the right mentality to have, but I don't know, I think about things like that. What if I do miss? Where do I want to miss? Hit a really good putt, just barely missed, kind of lipped out, but easy par back up into the hole. The third hole at Weeks is a par 3. It's kind of uphill a bit. You can't see the green from the tee boxes. You can only see the hill that's in front of it. And it looked like the pin was in the back of the green, and so that's typically my 8-iron club. And with the wind being with me, I thought I'll just open up the club a little bit, open up my stance, hit a really high fade, let the wind kind of do the rest. And yeah, hit the ball really well. Probably the best swing of the day. The only problem was that the pin was actually not in the back, it was in the center of the green. So now I have about a 25-foot putt for a birdie coming back up the hill.
Right.
Easy par on a par 3. This hole right here, hole 4, it's I think the easiest hole in the course. It's a really short par 4. You can't hit driver though, because there's bunkers guarding the front of the green, there's a tree in front of the green, so I always hit my hybrid. Hit the hybrid really well. It just didn't draw back into the fairway. It went straight down the line. And now I have a decent lie, kind of dirt, but not a bad lie. The only issue I really have is the fact that this tree has branches overhanging in front of me, and I can't take my 58 degree. So I took my 54 and kind of closed my grip and expected to hit a little knockdown that would maybe take a couple steps onto the green. That was the plan, at least. You can see by my finish, I definitely tried to knock it down and hit a draw, and I did just that. But I don't know how. But when it hit the front of the green, it just stuck. Actually rolled back a little bit. So now I have a pretty routine chip. I'm using the 54 degree again. That's the wedge that I always use for these shots. And this is an incredibly easy shot. If you're at a skill level where I expect myself to be at, these shots should be a routine up and down. I mean, there's no other variable in this besides chipping the ball up onto the green and let it release to the hole. And I did just that, so little tap in par, unfortunately on the easiest hole in the course, but par nonetheless. Okay, so this is probably the longest par 5 on the course. There's out of bounds and a gorge on the right side of the fairway. So I wanted to aim up the left, even with the strong grip that I was using that day.
Yeah.
Or today, not that day. That guy behind me told me I should just hit into the group in front of me. But I'm a bit more polite than that, sir, so I'm not going to do that. Or am I? Yep, I'm going to. And I think knowing that they were right there in front of me on the fairway, it kind of protected them, and I hit a terrible shot. Just beamed it far left. It wasn't a terrible shot, it was just off target. The only play I have here is to get up over these trees into the other fairway on the other side and have a simple shot back up into the green. Hit that really well. I'm back on the fairway. I have about 90 yards. I have no green to work with if I really want to attack the pin because it's 2 steps onto the green where the hole is. But there's a backstop right behind it, so I thought I'll just play my shot, double hop it into that backstop, let it feed back down to the hole, and I did just that. The only issue is that, yeah, you can see right there, it somehow didn't roll back down off this hill. You'll see right here how far uphill I'm walking, and I have no idea how it didn't roll back down. This putt is so far downhill, and it breaks just slightly to the left, but for the most part I just have to get the speed right. You can actually see right there the ball, it's so far downhill that the ball will not stop rolling away from me every time I set it back down, so that's just really telling on how unfortunate I was for the my third shot to not be closer than what it is right now. But a putt breaking to the left, right-handers shouldn't miss those too often, and made a birdie after a bad drive, so definitely worked out. Alright, 1 under through, what is that, 5 holes? Yeah, 5 holes. This is the longest par 4 on the front 9. I think it's about 470. I'm going into the wind a little bit. You can kind of hear it. There's water on the right. But with the really strong grip that I played, I aimed up over the water and hit a really good drive. Really good swing. My hands finished a little high, which kind of looked weird, but yeah, I hit that well. I have about 160 to the pin, and kind of hit a knockdown 8-iron to get underneath the wind and run it up there, and that's exactly what I did. Finished a little bit left side, but that was just because I drew the ball a little bit too much. So another birdie putt. A lot of greens in regulation. That's a good sign. If I can just get the driver working, I think my scores are going to dramatically drop. Thought I made that one when hunting for it. It just missed a little bit, but another tap-in par. Dang, my calves look big. What can I say? Maybe I ought to start wearing shorts more often. Even though we're about to get into wintertime, it's unfortunate. Alright, short par 5. The only thing protecting this hole is the fact that the green is so narrow outside of the tree-lined fairway, but you pretty much hit through most of these trees. I hit a really good drive. I just drew a little bit too much and actually hit one of the trees on the left-hand side and got knocked down, so the only play I have here is to punch my 1-iron out into the fairway. Kind of nicked the tree, but did exactly what I wanted to do, so I'm out there. Okay, you can actually see the 100-yard marker behind my keister over there. I have about 110 to the pin. My 58 degree, hit a great shot. Perfect divot. It just bounced and spun back too far, so probably should have taken the 54, but anytime I see 105 or 110, the 58 is always the first thing I think of, because that's just, you know, that's the perfect yardage. It's hard to convince yourself that to take a club that doesn't match that yardage, even knowing that, you know, how hard these wedges spin now. So a really long birdie putt on a really easy par 5, and just barely missed it. Speed was good though. You don't birdie the other par 5 and not birdie this one that often. Typically it's the other way around. But nevertheless, it's a par. All right, so I think this is the #1 handicap hole in the course. It's a 230-yard par 3. But I have a lot of wind, so I'm thinking just take my 5-iron, open up my stance a little bit, and just hit it really hard. And that's what I did. The only issue is that it was not the right club. Didn't get there. Landed just short of the green and stopped. Didn't roll on at all. It's probably pretty fortunate that it didn't roll on, because now I have an easy chip as opposed to a 80-foot putt. These types of chips, once again, are routine 54 degree. If I don't get this within 5 feet, it was an absolute miscue. But good shot right there, to about 2 feet, 3 feet. Tap in par on the hardest hole. 1 under through 8. The 9th hole here is only about 360 yards. The only thing protecting it is a gorge in front of the green. And I didn't really expect to get there, but I guess with the strong grips, give me a little bit more yardage on the draw. That was a really good swing. Felt good. Picked up the tee like a douchebag, so you know it was a good shot. And I actually drove it. Wow, alright, good English. I drove the ball all the way into the gorge, so now I have a difficult second shot. Hit a pretty decent out of that lie. You kind of see how much I had to dig it out. Got onto the front of the green, and now I'm putting for a birdie. This would be... what is this? Yeah, this is a birdie putt, so for 2 under 34. Not bad, not bad. Front 9 out here. I don't want to be any more than 1 over. If I'm 1 over or below, then I'm happy with that, because the front 9 here is typically easier than the back 9. This is my first round with the tripod that I bought. You can see how windy it is. It's actually still moving. That's crazy. But I'll definitely get some more vlogs coming out now that I have this tripod. Missed that putt just barely, but have a simple tap-in par for a 1 under 35. So that's pretty good considering I was fighting that driver the past couple weeks. Thanks, guys.